Ciao Milanisti, it's your boy Kush in the Milan corner. Alright guys, this is it. We got 3 matches to go, 3 favorable results, and Milan are the champions of Italy. Out of the blue, we got RedBird fly in Investcorp. I thought that deal was supposed to be done a week ago. Still not done. Who are these new guys? And today we find out that Maldini's dream signing for the summer mercato is JOAO Felix. Is that even possible? Well, in order to get an answer on all these things, I had to have someone smarter than me on. So I asked Mr. Martino Puccio to join me. And we'll dive into this interview after I share something important with you guys. Milanisti, the Milan corner has its first sponsor. I just want to thank the guys at OneFootball for reaching out, sponsoring this video. Guys, can you really call yourself a football fan if you don't have the OneFootball app? Get on your phone, click the link below, and download the app. You can set up your favorite team in the app. You guys know which one mine is. Scroll down, you can see all the information about Milan from different sources. Obviously, Sempre Milan is killing it. And here's the part that I know a lot of you guys are gonna love the most. Click on the Discover button at the bottom. It's like I'm walking my parents how to send an email. Scroll up and you will see the transfers button here. Now, if you click on my teams, in my case, you're gonna see all the Milan content, all the players that are rumored to be joining Milan. All you transfer mercato addicts, you guys are messaging me in February saying, Kush, what's gonna happen in the summer mercato? Now I have a solution for you. Instead of asking me, download the OneFootball app. This is where you can find out. All right, Martino. So pretty much what we're seeing now suddenly is Milan is in demand, right? So we got Investcorp that we were pretty certain was going to be going with Milan, but now there's a new player in RedBird. Without getting into too much detail about it, we're going to stick with the Verona game. What do you think is happening right now? Do you think that there's a possibility that RedBird actually takes over this this purchase possibility with Milan?
I think it's interesting because the reported figures are 200 million euros less than what Investcorp is offering. And we've known this whole time that Elliott owning Milan, it was to sell for the highest bidding. And the highest bidding long-term, upfront, is going to be from Investcorp, right? Because you get 800 million euros upfront, absolutely, and then the 400 million over time, and its potential equity that's being reported. So in the long run, wouldn't it make more sense for Elliott to take that offer instead of the late one, even though they're so deep into talks with Investcorp? For me, it's just basically down to simply understanding Italian journalism, and it just goes back to a philosophical quote by Socrates. It's like, I know what I don't know. The most reliable people were saying end of May is the closing, and we're not at the end of May. So everybody's panicking, freaking out. There's 3 matches left, and which is what I'm here to talk about with one of them with you, is that the most important thing is adding, hopefully, one more step closer to a second one of these. And that's really what it comes down to.
Inter are closer to adding that second star. But what I was more concerned about is constantly we've seen throughout the season, ever since Milan and Inter have been neck and neck in terms of the title, Inter always gets to play first. Is there a conspiracy here? Or is it just something that, just coincidental? That Milan always plays second and has more pressure based on Inter's result?
Well, I think the interesting thing is in 2022, Inter was in the European competition. Fixtures get moved around. They're going deeper in Coppa Italia. They wanted to push back the Bologna match. They kind of did it to themselves, right? Because you have to give that space to the team, right? Because Inter can't be playing the same days when they have to have a makeup game midweek against Bologna. They have to play Coppa Italia, mind you, by the way, right after what they do against Empoli. So again, there's so much more pressure on Inter than some people, I guess, would kind of like to let on, because you're playing for a trophy. Yeah, you finished top 4, but like all things considered, by betting favorites, by wage bills, by on-paper squad, they're the favorites for the title. And just some of the comments you read and hear from Simone Inzaghi saying how they were still licking their wounds from that derby where Giroud scored the winner. It's just really interesting to see that whole approach. And I'm not saying Inter's making excuses. It just seems like they're letting too much of past matches affect them. And that's something that's not a great mentality to have, because I could almost feel for certain that if Conte was still manager, that wouldn't be the case. They wouldn't be harping on a loss if that were to have happened. So one of the most important fixtures last season was away against Verona, where we had a bunch of players missing, and it was the backups in Krunic and Dalot that scored the goals in that one, 2-0. Dalot had a great finish, Krunic with his great free kick. It's kind of more of the same now. I don't believe we lost to Verona in the Pioli era away so far. The last time we faced them at home, the past 2 times, we've made an incredible comeback. So our mentality against them is always positive. I've seen stuff saying that Kessie's going to be starting at the 10. Having our three midfielders playing in this game, I think, is all important. And we have to remember as well, if you watch closely, and I know you're one of these people that see Milan play, they're not tied to like strict roles on the pitch. There might be three midfielders, and Kessie is playing the quote-unquote 10, but he moves around a lot. They're interchanging spots. Like sometimes Benacer moves higher up the pitch and Kessie falls back in to take that defensive assignment. And I think we're going to see more of that. Ante Rebic, I think he's really finding that kind of form right now where, yeah, he might not be scoring, but he's making a lot of impactful plays. And it puts a lot of pressure off of Rafael Leao, in my opinion.
So you kind of touched up on the Kessie situation behind the striker. That's fine. It kind of looks like that is going to be the case. I don't think Brahim is going to be starting. Kessie is a bit more of a fluid player, moves around in the midfield. So that's a good option for Milan there. On the right wing, that's where we have a little bit more of a concern with Messias and Alexis Alamaco. Always a fight. You mentioned Castillejo. It's completely forgotten, man. That's the position he used to play. We don't even talk about him anymore. So now, what do you think? Is it going to be Messias or Alexis on the right?
Yeah, I think it's Messias. I think Alexis has just completely fallen out of favor just because he doesn't provide that much offensively. And Messias has been showed in the Lazio game good work rate when he wants to, right? And that's kind of the thing. It's like you shouldn't have it when you want to. You should have it at all times, especially a player like that. I think he just adds more offensively, and Milan need goals to win. And that's the whole goal at this point, right? 3 games, put your best on the pitch. Salamakers can do some good things, but I think he's falling out of favor. I wouldn't rule out a sale this summer. But for me, it's Messias. I think he's playing his best stretch of football right now this season, aside from maybe like the late winter, I would say, or late 2021. So for me, I think Messias should start on the right side.
Right. And with Alexis, it's a little bit sad to see because I'm a big fan of Alexis, or I was at least last season. Leao, Alexis were, the in and out guys, and suddenly Leao is what he is, but Alexis just didn't take that leap. So it does look like to me that Milan is probably going to move him this summer mercato. So let's see what happens with that. Talking about the mercato, probably some of the guys are going to come back. One of the guys is Pobega. So it's not really a talking point, but I just saw like a lot of mentions of him on Twitter. And I was like, let me just ask somebody, because I haven't seen him play a lot. I missed the Torino match. How good is he? Because my prediction is if Investcorp comes in and we have money, I don't think Pobega is making our starting 11.
I don't think he's making the starting 11 in general. I don't really see the spot for him. If there's Sanchez, Yassine Adli's coming back, Benacer and Tonali are obvious mainstays. He's not better than any of the 4, and he's not going to play the position that Adli would be, which is more of an attacking midfielder that creates. Pobega is more of a mezzala who could progress the ball forward, isn't as strong defensively, isn't as strong offensively. He's a tweener. I think he's a good rotational piece. I wouldn't be 100% opposed if the new owners were to come in, and that does get done with Investcorp saying they have money. Plus Valenza on Pobega isn't the worst of ideas, 18, 20 million euros potentially. Played really well at Torino this season. I thought he progressed from that Spezia loan, which is great. Exactly what you want to see. Does pretty solid on a loan to Spezia, goes out again. Torino improves even further into Juric, and now he comes back. Either Milan could sell him, be a good rotational piece for a side that's going to be playing in a lot of competitions again. I could see either he gets sold or he's just going to have to accept that role. I think a loan out again just doesn't make much sense to me at all, if people are kind of like wondering about that.
Right. So the one player that we it looks like is almost solidified, although the rumors have been, up and down throughout this the season, is Renato Sanchez. It looks like he will be coming to Milan. Do you think that is the case? And this morning I read about the possibility. This is like, the summer market is here when people start talking like this, and obviously people can go on the OneFootball app and they can see which transfer rumors are out there. The interesting thing with in this case was I read about JOAO Felix. Maldini's dream signing would be Felix for this. Obviously we know how good a player he is at Atletico. Is that real or is that a rumor?
I don't believe it. I mean, we don't even know what the budget is. We don't even have a guaranteed owner at this moment in time. Like, we don't know all this stuff. We haven't met with UEFA for FFP purposes. Like, what are we allowed to do? What are we not allowed to do? I'll say this. I think Sanchez, from all the reliable reporters, it kind of is looking like the same thing with Botman. JOAO Felix, listen, man, I don't see that happening. I would love that. I think it's the perfect environment and type of football that he needs, not Diego Simeone warrior football. He's not that type of player. He's too technical to be playing in that type of system. So for me, I don't believe it. And that's also why they call it a dream, because it's a dream. So and the figure would be astronomical. It just would be.
Yeah, and that's what the management has kind of shown too. They're not really the big spenders, they're more the smart spenders. So, and I think that philosophy is not really going to change. Martino, thank you so much, man. You're one of the first people to interview me, so I really appreciate it. Your Twitter is down there so people can follow you, and that's where they can see, get updates on your regular commentary about football and potentially your future YouTube channel. There you have it, Milanisti. That's my conversation with Martino Puccio. Make sure you guys follow him on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter at the Milan Corner. Once again, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit the bell notification so you can watch the Milan Corner videos as soon as I upload them. Follow me on Instagram at the Milan Corner. Thank you always for watching. Thank you for your support. Thank you to OneFootball app. Let's get the big 3 points against Verona. We don't care what is happening in the other games. And once again, Forza Milan. Grazie mille e ciao tutti.